We're at Ben Franklin Elementary School today, and this is going to be a special segment for our Around Town series. Ben Franklin, one of the larger elementary schools for the Bethel Park School District, but this is also encompassing our community garden programs that we're working with. But on this particular community garden, this is a garden that the land has been donated by Diane Ford and her family, and we are going to not only be doing it as a community garden, but this is going to be a learning process for the Bethel Park School District for the students and staff. So through the course of all the upcoming months, you're going to be seeing segments as to how the garden progresses from the breaking ground that we did this morning in early April, to all the students as they're planting the seeds, to as the plants are growing, to as we bring in guest speakers to teach how to do gardening, how to do composting, and also as we're encompassing the rest of the teachers and staff and students from around the school district to different aspects of the garden, from doing raised beds to doing fences, to actually the care of the garden throughout the rest of the year and through the summer, leading all the way up into the grand finale, which is the harvest time and the kids enjoying the food and learning the nutritional value of homegrown food itself. So we're very excited about this project. We're, like I said, another segment of our Around Town, but a special segment where it's a community-wide project itself, and we're thrilled to be part of this program and very excited to be partnering with Dr. Shirley Dickinson at Ben Franklin Elementary School, with Nancy Rose, our superintendent, and the rest of the staff and teachers of Bethel Park School District, and bringing this full tilt to a fabulous community garden. Room down in this area for 4 raised beds. Okay. The raised bed about 4 feet wide, about 8 feet long. 2 on this side, 2 on this side. That's our main goal, most important goal right now. From here, Brandon is going to try and terrace this, bring a little bit of soil in, so we have such a big hump here to try and level off. I mean, we can only level up with the grade of the road. We can't go to a point that you have a big drop off on it. So it's just going to be a very gradual movement of it. There's already the stone wall here. We have some foundation stuff left here, some foundation stuff here. So we have to work around it. But right where the Bobcat is, there'll be, the beginning, right where the end of the bucket is, that'll probably be the first raised bed coming back 8 feet, a space in between it, another raised bed 8 feet. So ideally we'll have 4 raised beds. That way, if Shirley is looking at, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, or however she wants to break it up, like all this area that we're standing, we're just going to clean it up, terrace it up, and this is all going to be corn on the cob. Okay. So we're just going to grow corn. The perimeter, we'll have it set that the kids can plant sunflower seeds, marigolds, and so forth, just as a beautification perimeter and so forth of it. But, for this year, ideally, we're just thinking the 4 raised beds in the corn to have them a good crop. Depending on how the rest works out, we could put a pumpkin patch in and a watermelon patch would be my backup to have. So corn here, pumpkin here, watermelon here, the 4 raised beds areas to walk around with it. And then we'll have the deer netting, because as soon as we pulled in, there was already a deer here and a couple bunny rabbits and everything else. So you have a good neighborhood here. And that's pretty much what we have in mind. As soon as we leave here, I'm going to go with Dave. We're going to go over to Ben, and we're going to film the 4th graders starting their planning routines on it. And then the next big one is next Thursday, then you saw, was when we're going to be spending probably 4 or 5 hours up at Ben Franklin. We have the people from Grove Pittsburgh coming and doing the assemblies and everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so does that
Yeah, that's good.
That works?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the plan.
Okay. Okay, we're up here on Willow Street in Bethel Park, and this is our official groundbreaking for our new community garden. I want to introduce you to Diane Ford. This is her land that we're going to be using, and welcome to your groundbreaking, and give us the official name of our new garden.
The Samuel and Anna Mae Richardson Community Garden.
Okay, and this has been a dream of yours for how long now?
About 5 years now.
Okay, and could you tell us who all was going to be involved in this project?
The Bethel Park School District, EV Hardware, the community of Coverdale, and Ben Franklin School. The kids are going to be planting here.
Okay. What are you envisioning out of this garden? Say we're breaking ground today, and I know it's not going to be a huge garden, but take us 5 years from now. What are you envisioning of this property?
That the full property is totally used, that we have a greenhouse on the adjacent lot, that we are working to feed the hungry, and we're teaching children entrepreneur skills with the Bethel Park Chamber of Commerce, and just a whole plethora of things, scholarships being offered for students.
What gave you this idea of a community garden like this?
My grandfather used to have a garden right down the street, and my uncles and everyone had gardens around here. It seemed like it had a really good community feel, and we've been disjointed a little bit in our community, and wanted to make sure that was we were able to come back together.
What can you tell us about the name of the garden itself? Where does the name come from?
Well, the land was, we inherited the land from my grandparents, and again, it's just a true dedication to all the work that they've done, and they did some volunteer work with SHIM, and just really making sure that they were in touch and in communing with the community. And so we just want to make sure that we honor that legacy with them.
How many total residents of Bethel Park, or kids or so forth, are you envisioning being involved in this project?
As many as would like to participate. I don't have a set number.
Okay, and the garden's going to be the neighborhood also is going to help working this garden throughout the course of the summer, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, we had a successful volunteer meeting on Saturday, and people were all committed and excited about it, so we're excited to get started here.
So everyone's invited, including the deer and the bunny rabbits?
No, they cannot come into the garden, but they can watch from outside on the street.
Okay. Terrace area, Brandon's going to pull this soil down to get this more level. That'll be our cornfield. In front of the cornfield, we'll split this lot in two. We'll have pumpkins and watermelons. So we'll have corn, pumpkins, watermelons, the 5 raised beds down in here, and then as a perimeter going around the garden, that's where we can do all the big sunflowers you plant. We'll be putting all the sunflower plants all the way up and around, and then since there's all those flowers there, we might as well plant them, and then underneath we could put marigolds and geraniums and everything else around.
Keep it symmetrical for boxes, and then maybe other bird, whether it be kindergarten, whatever, grow the sunflowers or the watermelon or squash or whatever.
We could do that.
That would be fun too.
Someone will give you a phone, I'll take a picture.
What's that?
Why are you hiding back there?
Who is?
You are.
Ever.
On your toes, buddy. Thank you so much, Andy. Really
Makes magic happen, I told you.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness.
Brandon, you get
Glad to be here. Thanks for doing that.
awesome.
Yep.
That's the job I want.
I was going to give you a hug too, but you're on film. It's great to meet you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for your help.
I duct tape.
Yeah, just take it back down there.
All right, so we're excited to see the very first seeds to be planted. And you're planting lettuce. Did you know that?
How many of you have ever helped grow a garden before? They're seasoned veterans. That's you grow one. How many of you have a garden in your home, in your yard? Okay. Awesome. And do any of you grow food in your gardens? Wow. Well, you're more experienced than we are.
I tell you, they're going to teach us what to do today.
Yay!
Diane Ford first came to me with the idea, with a twofold purpose. One, of course, was to have a community garden, to teach the community to work together, to grow together, and to be able to provide a service to the community. But also, we had an educational partnership that we wanted to forge through the garden, and that was to give kids an opportunity to see from an instructional point of view where food comes from, but also to teach kids who are diverse and from diverse neighborhoods in our community to be able to work together and to produce something together and give back to their community. So this is an exciting day. It's the first day that our kids here at Franklin Elementary are planting seeds for what we eventually hope will be the garden, the community garden. We started the day today at the site on Willow Street with I guess a bobcat would be
That's
the
right.
technical.
Yeah, that's it.
The bobcat was there starting to move a little bit of the ground. We did discover that it was a little too wet to move today, so that'll have to happen later in the week when the ground dries up a little bit. We came over to Ben Franklin this morning and began with the fourth graders who are each growing their own peat pot of vegetable seeds. So today the fourth graders planted their lettuce, and each grade will pick one item that they'll be growing in the garden. Eventually, we hope that those peat pots will take off and they'll be ready to plant in the ground. And that's where the high school folks will come in with the raised beds. They'll be prepared for the students to put their individual pots in the garden. Today the students had to determine how much soil, how much water, how deep was a 1/4 inch to put the seeds. For some younger kids, that's a challenge. And then, you know, the whole life cycle of a plant in science. We'll be looking at I'm most certain that the teachers will be taking advantage of having the students journal about the process of growing their plants in their gardens, measuring how large their plants are getting. And then the whole sociological aspect of contributing to the community. What do foods do in a community? How do we serve people? How do we share our produce with people who are less fortunate in our community? It's my understanding that the Ford family has already connected with their church community, and you know, we've had so many other members of the community come forward, like yourself, Andy. You were the first person I called about the project. But we will have, I'm most certain, many members of the community will be involved in helping to take care of the garden over the summer while the students are away.
Dr. Dickinson, thank you for allowing us here at Ben Franklin. It's a beautiful school. Are you excited about your school being picked for this program, and what aspects of this program can you tell us about? Why is it important to you and your staff to be having this community garden?
Well, we're quite honored to be included, Andy. And when we were first approached, of course, by yourself, Mrs. Rose, our district superintendent, as well as the Ford family, getting this initiative off the ground, we just thought, what a perfect opportunity to bring all of the different subject areas together. When you think of childhood obesity being a concern in America today, we need to help children to develop healthy eating habits and to be able to help them to grow up great. And so it's nice to see yourself from the community, Mrs. Rose, our district superintendent. We have our PTOs involved. We had several PTO members there at the groundbreaking, community members, parents. And it's just great to see school board, yes. Mrs. Rule was there as well. It's great to see so many folks coming together on behalf of children and gardening. Now, I did notice in one of our visits, we did have a few students that already do garden at home, and so we're hoping that they can be classroom leaders in that as well.
Cody Dennis.
How old are you, Cody?
I am 10.
10? And what grade are you in?
4th.
4th grade? Who's your teacher here?
Mrs. Poulis.
Okay. And what can you tell us about gardening? Do you like to garden?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay. What do you garden? What do you grow at home?
I garden different things,
Okay.
like I'll garden vegetables, flowers. I mostly garden flowers with my mom.
Okay. Do you have a favorite flower?
Probably a rose.
A rose?
Yeah.
That's a nice thing to garden. How long have you been gardening?
Probably since the age of 5.
Okay. Let's start with your name and age.
My name is Lucas Huffrick, and I'm 10 years old.
Okay, and what class are we here in? What's your class?
Miss Poulis is in 25.
And you're in what grade?
4th grade.
4th grade. And what can you, I understand you like to garden. You do a little bit of gardening?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what can you tell us about gardening?
It's pretty fun because you get to eat what you grow.
Okay, do you have a garden at home?
Yeah.
How big is your garden?
About like from where the bookshelves are, right there. That's how big.
Okay. Could you tell me what you plant? What do you plant in your garden?
Broccoli, tomatoes, corn sometimes, onions, potatoes, and celery.
Okay. How many years have you been gardening?
About since I've been 2.
It's a long time. Who taught you about gardening?
My mom and dad.
Okay. And do they still garden now, or do you have to do all the gardening for them?
Do all the gardening for them.
What's your favorite part of gardening?
Eating.
What's your favorite food that you grow?
Broccoli.
The broccoli. Well, that's a good one. Do you cook it after you pick it, or do you eat it right off the stalk?
Cook it after we eat it.
Okay. What else have you learned to cook?
Like eggs and stuff.
Do you grow eggs in the garden?
No.
No. Okay, and when do you plant your garden at home?
About an hour-ish.
Okay, this is when you're getting started?
Yeah.
Okay, and when do you usually harvest the garden?
Like any time in the year when they start to when the tomatoes start to get red or something.
Okay. And how much work is a garden throughout the course of the year?
Pretty hard because you have to water it and pick all the weeds out.
Could you take us step by step as to what it takes to plant a garden?
Mm-hmm. Well, first you put them in like a strawberry container. And you fill that halfway up with dirt, and then you put the seeds in and you put them on the windowsill. And then you put water on that, and then after that, it'll start to grow. And then after that, you'll put them in bigger containers, and then you'll put them on the windowsill again. And then when they start to get bigger, you'll put them like in the garage or something, and then put them outside every day for about 2 hours, and then you plant them.
And how long do they grow outside? Do you remember what month it is that the garden's finished?
About May.
May? Okay. Very good. Are you planning on continuing to garden the rest of your life?
Yes.
Do you want to be a farmer when you grow up?
No.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Police officer.
Very nice. Thank you very much for your time.
Many schools are trying to start a garden. We have a community garden that includes everyone, including our school and our students. They will be having opportunities to write about gardening. They will be able to learn about environmental education topics, science, many different facets of growing plants, also working together as community members. It crosses into social studies, science, math, engineering. We're going to use technology, such as yourself with the TV station and everything. It's just seeing it all come together with one glorious project.
Pretty exciting, though, isn't it?
Oh, my goodness.
Have you ever been involved in a community-wide project like this at any of your schools in your teaching career?
No, I haven't been. This is my first community garden, I have to say, which is what makes it even more exciting. My grandmother was a gardener, and she had a huge garden when I was a little girl, and so it's wonderful to see, and it brings me back to my childhood, and I'm glad to be able to work with you to provide that opportunity for our children.
So you're a gardener?
I'm not personally a gardener at home, but I definitely will be here at school.
First, it was an extraordinary gift on the part of the Ford family to donate this land, to be able to bring fresh fruits and vegetables to the community, and to be able to provide some vegetables for families that might not be able to afford fresh foods and vegetables. So that, first and foremost, was an extraordinary gift. The other aspect of the partnership from a learning perspective, that anytime we have kids involved in real-life applications. This is science, it's math, it's social studies, it's art, it's language arts. Everything comes together. Dr. Dickinson, our elementary principal, said that this is the kind of project that brings together every aspect of learning. It's the culmination of why we became educators. So it's just a beautiful opportunity to bring the whole community together.
Well, I'm looking forward to this year-long process almost with this garden. So here we are in early April, just planting the seeds, but I'm just as much looking forward to September, October, when we're into the harvest time, and the students and the teachers and staff and everything are enjoying the fruits of their labor.
How many are they doing?
1 cup. One of these per kiddo. Yeah. Thank you. What do you think?
Dig a 1-inch hole or a 1/4 inch hole.
1/4 inch hole.
In the middle. In your dirt.
If I put a 1/4 inch hole in the dirt with a finger. Okay.
Ready to add the dirt? Go ahead and add the dirt. Caleb, would you be so kind to get it on your seat?
Continue to tune in throughout the year for our updates on the Samuel and Anna Mae Richardson Community Garden.